Welcome to the Enlightened Musician Podcast, a podcast all about the music business and learning how to turn your art into an equally successful business, flipping the mentality of a starving artist into a profitable, sustainable career. Each week, we will interview someone that is excelling in their field and talk tips and tricks on how you can implement that for yourself. Because honestly, how can you know what you don't know until you've been enlightened? Welcome to another episode of the Enlightened Musician Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Light, and today we have an amazing guest. Her name is Filomena Croce. She is an Italian singer and songwriter in the Netherlands, traveling around the world with a Master's of Music graduate, Conservatorium teacher, and business owner. She has performed at Tomorrowland Belgium, the London Jazz Festival, and worked with the multi-Grammy Award-winning orchestra, Metropole Orkest. And she is releasing her debut EP, Love Will Come Back, in early 2021. So we have a lot to talk about. Let's just get on into this conversation. I'm so excited today to have Filomena on, and we are going to actually talk about a little bit about how she got into what she's doing. You already heard on the pre-recording, she's already done some major accomplishments. And I kind of just want to talk about your backstory. How did you get into music, and kind of give us a brief on how you got there?
Hello. First of all, I want to say hello to you, Lauren, and thank you for having me here on the show. Yeah, good question. How I got into music. Well, I think it happened, by chance almost. When I was like 10 years old, so some time ago now. There was, an audition for a choir, and I took part into the audition, and I just passed it and was like, yay. And there were some concerts with this choir, and it didn't last very long, that one, but after that I just decided to continue with it, and I got into another choir, and then I started studying at the school. And then I did my bachelor. And my story actually starts. It was not really a conscious choice. That's what I mean. It just came by itself. So yeah, I didn't decide. Like, music chose me more than I chose music.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, and then it became serious, like with time, like with my bachelor, and I graduated in Italy in jazz voice, and after that I started traveling. I went to the UK. I stayed there for some time, and I started traveling. I went to Slovenia, Ireland, Belgium, Brazil. Even it was so much fun going to Rio de Janeiro. And then, I started my master in 2015, and I graduated in 2018. My Master of Music in Jazz and Pop Voice. And meanwhile, I was doing concerts, of course, and I've been involved in many festivals. Of course, the most important ones that you already said that in the introduction, like Tomorrowland and the London Jazz Festival. But of course, I've been in more festivals, and I'm also a teacher. So I have my own teaching business, but I've also taught at the Conservatorium in Belgium, in Bruges. So that's what I've been doing right now. I'm teaching and I'm performing. Well, let's say that Corona didn't make that very easy.
Yeah.
But I still could, keep going and, finding, newfound creative ways also to do that online. So I keep going with that, but of course I hope that we can soon go back to a more normal, more traditional way of performing.
I know. I'm in the same boat because I'm a musician as well. And you were talking about traveling earlier. This whole entire year, traveling at the very first of the year, January through March, I was like in 8+ different states and like traveling and then just like halt. So you have to get a little creative. So I'm completely in the same boat of you. You were talking about you traveled a ton. Was that just on your own free will or was there purpose behind traveling? Was it like musical traveling that you were doing?
No, well, there was a purpose. Let's say I started traveling because I wanted to do my master in the Netherlands.
Hmm.
So I had this very big goal in my mind, and I thought that to get better and better and become a better musician and better singer, I had to attend master classes and workshops and all that kind of stuff, and I preferred going abroad. Of
Yeah.
course, there are of course master classes and courses in Italy.
Hmm.
Some are really nice, but I've also been in some in Italy, but I also preferred just going abroad, and from there I started also performing abroad. I moved to the UK to study English, um, because the course in the Netherlands, my master's course, it was an international course, so it was gonna be in English, and I was like, yeah, I need to speak English and understand English properly to do that.
Yeah.
So I went to the UK and I started performing there too. And yeah, that was amazing. And then, well, also with some waitressing on the side at the
Mhm.
time, because I was not really teaching music yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was so exciting and so useful also because then I learned how to speak English like I'm doing now with you.
That's so did you know English before you actually took those courses or any at all?
Yeah, well, I studied English at school, of
Yeah.
course. So I did. I think I had a very good base of grammar.
Mhm.
So my teachers were really good teachers. I've been lucky enough to have very good teachers, so I knew grammar pretty well. But the thing that I was lacking was practice. So when I was like in front of people, I was almost petrified with terror. I mean, I tried to talk to them, and well, I understood, but I felt limited, because I
Yeah.
was, I was like, yeah, well, I'm not sure. But when I went to the UK, then I was forced to speak English to them because no one was gonna speak Italian to me whatsoever. Of
Mhm.
course, and yeah, then I had to overcome my fears. I've been forced, but that's what I wanted, so that's why I went there.
That's
So
crazy though, like, that's insanely one of my producers that I work with all the time is Italian, and he had to learn English and does it all the time, and, like, just multiple languages in general to me is just the coolest thing ever, so and that's insane. But, we'll talk about those master classes. Did you have, like, a favorite that you did while you were on the road?
um, well, I think the one in Rio de Janeiro was probably one of my favorites because, well, one of the I sing different genre of music,
Mhm.
so I like to be very versatile. So I sing jazz and I sing well also EDM with Tomorrowland, but
Cool.
some classical and world music, and especially like in world music, Brazilian music. So bossa nova, samba, and yeah, and that's what I've done like a lot when I was in the like during my studies, especially in the Netherlands. Um, so yeah, I thought it was one of the most useful ones to do, because then I went there where the bossa nova actually originated. So yeah, and it was just so cool. It was so different from Europe, anywhere I've ever been in Europe, and I was like just looking around. I was like, wow, this is amazing to look at. Yes, so different. And yeah, I just loved it. It was a bit weird because like I went in January, like the end of January or something like that, which Europe is winter. But then I went there and it was so warm. So I was like, okay. Well, I knew that it was gonna be warm, of course, but yeah, just the experience that was weird, but yeah, it was just so amazing. And we had a performance at Becos das Garrafas, which is it's an historical place in Rio de Janeiro, where like a lot of great names of bossa nova performed during the years, and we had to perform there. It was so cool, but I got sick that night.
Oh, that's the worst.
So I had to sing with like temperature. So I was like, oh. So I just had to take some medicine, but I really wanted to get on stage. That would not be possible today with Corona, but but at the time it was still allowed, and it was a really good concert. I really loved it.
I was going to say you'd have really missed not singing in that too. So that's so cool. I love too that you were talking about you do multiple genres. So I know your voice, when you said you went to school, was that for jazz and pop or just vocalist in general?
At the Conservatorium in the Netherlands. It was jazz and pop voice, but the good thing about that school is that actually you could choose whatever you wanted to do. So that's why it was called jazz and pop, because it was like a broad, like you could choose between a variety of stuff. Yeah, the good thing about that school is like they would give you some money that you could use for external teachers. So that was something for the master only, not for the bachelor there. So I could use it, for teachers that were not at school and study whatever I wanted to study, with a limit, of course. There was an infinite budget, unfortunately, but it was really a nice thing with that school.
Yeah. No, and we were talking about EDM too. I want to hear about what this Tomorrowland Belgium is. Can you kind of tell a little bit about that experience?
So Tomorrowland is a very famous EDM festival that per year has 400,000 attendees. So spread into 2 weekends. And it has like the biggest names of EDM, and people from around the world go and see it. And I was, lucky enough to work at Tomorrowland and sing at Tomorrowland in an orchestra.
Nice.
And it was just, amazing to be there. I don't remember exactly how many people there were we had 2 concerts, one on one weekend and the other one on the other weekend. But our show has been watched by millions of people, and like between streaming and YouTube and all the platforms, millions of people watched it, and it was just so amazing. And after that, I got another job with Tomorrowland for the 15th anniversary of Tomorrowland. There was a huge concert at the Ziggo Dome Arena in Amsterdam, where I had the opportunity to work with the Metropole Orkest, which is it's a famous orchestra in the Netherlands. It has won several Grammy Awards. And they emailed me, and it was like, oh my God, like Grammy Award winners emailed me. So I was like, to work with them. And with them, we supported big names of EDM. So I worked. I can say I worked with Tiesto. I worked with Afrojack. With Armin van Buuren, like huge names. So we were supporting them while they were, doing their stuff, playing their big hits. So it was amazing. It was like 2.5 hours show. We had also there 2 nights, and we had 17,000 people like present at the arena per night. So it was just crazy, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, with like fireworks inside the arena. So I was so scared, and they put fireworks and actually fire. So I was like, I'm so scared, but I have to pretend everything is fine. I have to smile on stage, but I'm afraid of the fire. No, but everything went fine, of course. But it was so amazing. So amazing.
I was going to say, that's been I've never been able to perform with an orchestra. Like, that has to be its own kind of thing. What's like a big difference between just playing like by yourself locally or versus like with a full orchestra? Is there like something that it feels like magical in my mind? I don't know why. Is there something like just innately different?
Well, in my personal experience, I got a bit more anxiety with the orchestra.
Yeah.
Compared to when I sing like in duo or trio. Well, but usually when I sing in duo or trio, I can actually decide myself, like with the other musicians, or sometimes even just myself, the repertoire.
Gotcha.
So what we're gonna do, like we are our own bosses. But with the orchestra, you just have to execute what they want what they want us to do. So we have to follow sheets, like exactly how they are written and everything. That's the main difference.
Yeah,
I think.
that sounds so fun, though. Honestly, that has to be once in a lifetime. Hopefully, after COVID, though, we can get back to that. Have they been able to do anything during COVID? Because I know you said you had to get a little creative. Has anything been going on musically during all this that you guys have done?
Actually, of course, 2020 has been different from what I thought it would be in the end. But, I didn't lose hope, and I didn't lose motivation. So I've done actually quite some things. I have a vocal group. We are like 20 something singers, and we did like 3 videos that we put online and that we recorded at a distance. And they are pretty cool videos. I should send you the links.
Yeah, send me the link. And for everyone listening, I'll actually put this in the show notes so you guys can see this, because I'm all about, especially choirs and 20 part. Like, that's really cool. Continue. Sorry. But yeah,
don't worry. It's fine. And they are pretty cool videos. One of them, it was like a Eurovision tribute. It's so much fun because we all like at the beginning we were like all dressed very simple in black with almost no makeup or a little makeup,
Yeah.
and then like one after the other we just changed and we got into our Eurovision self.
That's actually really cool.
That was so cool. I was wearing glitters and little stones, like glittery stones. It was so cool, like full red lips and all that stuff, and everyone was wearing different crazy stuff. It was so cool. And then so that with my vocal group, and then I've also been in the London Jazz Festival this year.
How was that?
It was also pretty cool in November. And it was also online because I could not travel to London as I did other times. Or other times I was also already there. So it had to be online, but it has been still a very cool experience. It was the Orphy Robinson's virtual jazz club band. It's
Yeah.
a very long name, so I have to repeat every word in my head. Yeah, with Orphy Robinson's as a band leader. And yeah, they sent us our parts and we had to record them. So actually, well, of course, then I knew the song because I read it and I sang my part, but actually I had no idea how it was gonna come out
Yeah.
at the end, and I didn't know like the other people that were playing and singing. So like when the video premiered online, I was like waiting for it with such just waiting for it with not anxiety but like positive
Yeah.
anxiety, because we're like, okay, I don't know how it's gonna come out, but I was sure it was gonna be good, great. It was a very good surprise. I was really happy about the result. It was maybe even better than I imagined. It was really cool.
Well, I guess it's because too, you guys weren't able to practice together, or like, I guess everything was individually recorded.
Yeah, it was individually recorded. I had no idea how the other
Oh.
people were playing, how their parts, because I didn't have everyone's parts. I had only like my part.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just really didn't have much idea about how it was gonna come out at the end. I just knew it like in general, but not like how it would come out. And also the video, I didn't know how it was gonna look like in
Mhm.
the end. But it was so amazing. They did a very great job
So
with
you got to
that.
be surprised with everyone else as well. Like,
Yeah, it was
what?
a beautiful surprise. I really loved it. I was so happy at the end. So that was also a very good thing about 2020, like what I did.
See, some people in the music industry haven't really done much at all. So that I feel is a huge compliment to still be doing like the London Jazz Festival during a complete pandemic is crazy cool. So I think a lot of musicians that are listening to this right now, uh, there are no roadblocks within music. You just kind of got to get a little creative and figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, for sure. Because you know, when there is like motivation and everything, you can still find a way. Anyway, it's gonna be hard. Of course, it was hard. I had moments of discouragement like
Mhm.
everyone else. It hasn't been easy. Of course it was a challenge, but you can get creative in the end. It is possible.
Definitely. And I was going to say, there's one thing we still haven't talked about really. Oh, two things actually. You mentioned you're a business owner as well. Do you want to kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I started my own teaching business 2 years
Nice.
ago. So in November 2018, yeah,
Uh-huh.
with days,
Right
I'm like,
after you graduated, right?
yeah, after I graduated, yeah, I started my business in Rotterdam. So a music school
Mhm.
where I had students of all ages, all levels. With COVID, it had to become online too,
Yeah.
but that's not a problem at all. Online lessons are, yeah, of course, it's
Mhm.
not exactly the same as in person, but they work. They work. So. I really love to be also a teacher, and well, not only with my own music business, but also the conservatorium. Actually, that has been always a dream of mine to
Mhm.
have the opportunity to teach at a conservatorium, because I studied at two conservatorium, like one in Italy and one in the Netherlands. So I was looking at my teachers, and I was just saying to myself, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
And I want to do the same as they do. And I got to do it for a short time in 2019. I went to Belgium, which anyway is quite close to Rotterdam, so it was not that much of a problem to go there. And it was, a very good experience. And I hope I can do that again too, beside my own music school. Of course, I like to do a lot of things. I like to keep busy and do a lot of stuff.
It definitely sounds like that. Just because all this is happening within a couple years span. I don't think people, if you're listening to this, most people haven't done some of the stuff you've done in years. So trust me, I'm with you on that. I love to be busy and do as much as well. Um, let's actually talk about another thing because it's crazy what all you've been doing during pandemic. Let's actually talk about the new album, what it's called, how that's been going as well, because it's not out yet, but it's coming out.
No, yeah. So my album is another thing that I did during
Yeah,
COVID.
I love it.
The title of the album is Love Will Come Back, and it will be out in late February. It's gonna be a collection on some empowering pop, catchy tunes
Yeah.
and melancholic ballads. Um, well, I can say for myself that I love it, but you have to listen to it afterwards when it comes out, and you will have to see for yourself. But it's really great. It's really great. It has some great messages. Like the song have some empowering messages that talk about personal growth and trying to find confidence with yourself. So I think, they give some very positive messages to people. So I think it's gonna be great. I
Well,
took
and
some inspiration. Sorry if I interrupted you.
oh, no. Go ahead. I think you're
I
gonna answer what I was gonna ask.
Oh, I don't know. But I took some inspiration from Christina Aguilera, I think.
Oh, no.
That.
Yeah.
Because when I was a teenager, like 15 or something, like Christina Aguilera was like my hero of music. So I was listening to all her empowering songs.
Mhm.
And I think that stuck with me a little bit. And well, that's also part of my personality. So that's also how I am personally. So I really am happy that my songs have, all these positive messages. Most of them.
Most of them. You said there
Most
was a
of
couple
them.
melancholy ones, but is that why you named the album Love Will Come Back?
Love Will Come Back is no, it doesn't have to do with melancholic ballads. It's actually the title of one of the empowering songs, but it doesn't have anything to do with romantic love.
Yeah.
It's much more about when you spread love, when you like not necessarily romantic love, but
Mhm.
like positive feelings.
Yeah.
When you put out love, you're gonna receive love in return. So that's more what it means.
And honestly, I think that's so fitting for everything going on right now. Just when you spread love and positivity, that it will come back. And I'm huge on empowerment albums. So I definitely would suggest everyone to check it out. And it's going to be out, you said February ish. We're all on this timeline of we're just kind of waiting and seeing when the right time is to release stuff. But I'm excited about that. That's a really cool album too. I honestly agree with you on there's a lot of romantic albums. So to have something that's empowering and self-empowering and spreading love, it's kind of a really nice change up. And I think we could all use that. So I'm excited. Is there anything else that you're excited about coming up this year? Or is it the albums like the thing that's exciting?
Well, I am a person that likes to think ahead. Well, sometimes fortunately, sometimes unfortunately, it depends on the occasions, of
Yeah.
course. So I do have some things plan for 2021, but
Mhm.
for now, the only thing I can really talk about is my album. Because well, about the other things, they are still work in progress,
Mhm.
and I didn't have like confirmations exactly about them. So we are still organizing, and it also doesn't depend like completely on us. It also depends on how COVID goes and what it will allow. So the only thing that for now is very sure and I can, really promote is my album, which is actually like a great thing to talk about, because it's also my first one.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
even more exciting. How many
yeah,
songs is gonna be on the album as well?
it's gonna be 5 songs, 5 tracks. Um, yeah, it is my first one, so I'm so excited. I got into songwriting a little bit late,
Mhm.
because I've been singing for 20 years. So that's a
Yeah.
very long time, right? But I've always been a bit afraid of writing.
Yeah.
I found it very confronting. At
Mhm.
least we're talking about myself, of course. I don't know, because, well, of course, songwriters can write about whatever they want to write, but
Mhm.
for me, um, what works is really talking about my life, talking about my feelings and my experiences.
Yeah.
So doing that can be hard, and for me, it was hard. I felt very vulnerable
Mhm.
and very exposed. So I found it hard to find the courage to like really expose myself and like just putting myself out there, and just so people could read me like an open book,
Yeah.
let's say. So that's something maybe that has come with time, with maturity, with personal growth. I think so. It took a little bit longer to come, but I think it came at the right time. So that was the right time to start writing, and I think this is like the right time for my own music to come out.
That's so cool too, and I know writing for the first time, it's always really hard, like you said, to be really vulnerable and really put yourself out there. So this first album's almost gonna feel like a little bit of a baby, a musical baby, as they say.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it is my baby. Absolutely, I don't have like person's baby, like person baby, but like yeah, I think my album is gonna be like my baby because it has been a long process.
yeah.
It started, I think, like 3.5 years ago, so it's quite some time. I didn't have the idea of the album at the time,
Yeah.
so that's only the time when I knew I was really starting, writing. I was
Yeah.
starting to write. So yeah, I didn't have the project of the album yet in my mind, but that's how it starts.
Mhm.
So yeah, it has been quite some time, like that I needed to write all the songs and then to have some pause and then then actually started really planning.
Yeah, but I do think that people will relate to that a lot more and can actually take those songs and, like, put them into their own story, so I think the more time you take and really put your heart into something, and it really, credits to the album, so I'm really excited for you for that, and I hope it's so well received, and people can hear some of this too and see kind of the work that was put into it, so that's awesome. I do have one last question for you, and it's one of my favorites to ask. So I like to always ask, if you were to tell a younger you, someone just starting out kind of in your field, some a little bit of advice, what would be some advice that you would probably give them?
um
I know it's a big question.
yeah, it is a big question, but it's yeah, it's a very good one. So thank you for asking me this question.
I always just love the answers I get at the end. They're always just completely who knows.
Yeah, well, what I would tell myself as a younger me starting out, is to just not get discouraged by other people's opinions,
Mm-hmm.
because like, as me, that you are a musician too, so you know that how music is perceived
Mm-hmm.
by people, like usually like the mentality that there is with the culture, and people thinking music is not a real profession, and maybe you should do something
Yeah.
else, and get a degree in something that is more useful, they say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did get comments, and
Mm-hmm.
I got hurt in the past by these comments, but I would, just say, just don't listen. In the end, I didn't listen, but
Mm-hmm.
well, of course, otherwise I would not be here right now. But sometimes it has been difficult to hear some of these comments. So I would just, you know just be of support. I would just be supportive with myself,
I love
and yeah, just say, just keep doing what you want to do. Just don't listen to what other people have to say. If they support you, it's good. If they don't, just the important is that you support yourself.
No, exactly. And I think I dealt with that as well. And it's just one of those knowing what you want to do and who you want to be. And any voice that contradicts that is just lame. So I love that. And I think anyone listening can really know that a lot of people go through that. And a lot of people have the imposter syndrome and tell people to get a degree in something else or do something else. Don't listen to them. And I love that. And I think that's a great note to end on. I'm going to leave a lot of links for you to check everything out we've talked about today. And I'm really excited about the album. And seriously, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me and talking. It's been my pleasure. Oh my goodness. It's been a fun conversation.
Oh, thank you for having me. I also really enjoyed our conversation, and maybe there will be more in the future.
Well, we'll have to see because you said there's a lot of good things coming up, so I might wanna have to know about it, so and I love
Yeah.
this, and hopefully by the time this comes out and everybody's listening on it, maybe the album will be coming out within the next week or so, or it might have just came out, so either way, I will update the link, so be sure to check back in and the link to the album, and also that video of her choir playing, I'm gonna put that underneath it as well, so you can check her out. Seriously, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Enlightened Musician podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theenlightenedmusician.com, where you can subscribe to the show on your platform of choice so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, this is Lauren Light.